Steph and the Warriors visiting Memphis, and Jay Will, Steph just went off.
Well, when you're a drop coverage, Zach Edey, the chances are Steph Curry's going to get open shots.
Not great.
All these buckets early, Monica. This is all first quarter stuff here from Steph. Give it up and get it back.
The pace of this game was frenetic, but Stephen Curry's control in this one, getting exactly what he wanted. We just highlighted this matchup here, and cashing in, Greeny, disrespectful.
Over the 7-4 Zach Edey, and then here's another. Steph, 19 points on 5 of 6 from 3 in the first quarter. Warriors a 13-point lead. Then, Jay, to the second quarter we go, and look at the range here.
I mean, you get up, who's on the shooter? How do you leave a guy who was 19 in the first quarter? The shot was spectacular, but the defense was even worse.
And now we're turning defense into offense, going the other way, and it's Steph going to wind up with the bucket again, and the Warriors have a 5-point lead. We're still in the first half. Steph, watch this. Come on.
Now he's hot.
He might be the best he's been shooting.
I think he's the scariest.
Last night was... Woo!
8 threes in the first half, Shams. Warriors up 8 at the break. But now, Warriors are down by 3. They needed every bit of this from Steph. Look at that. 45 points, 11 threes through 3, tied at 103 going to the fourth quarter. And then more ball movement. Shams, this one's going to give him an even 50.
Unbelievable. He had a nice round of golf this week while the team was on their road trip in Miami and Augusta and all these places that he went. So I'm sure he's locked and loaded.
By the way, Jimmy Butler had a quiet 27.
Very quiet.
Golf never does that for me. Brandon Przemski with the tip in there, and Steph Curry and the Warriors wind up with an absolutely thrilling win. For Steph Curry, it's certainly not his first 50-piece. It's the 15th of his career, tied with Dame Lillard for 6th in NBA history, well behind Wilt Chamberlain. Here was his coach, Steve Kerr, on the Chef's performance.
I mean, the guy's 37 years old. It's incredible. 52 points with people draped all over him all game long. The conditioning, the skill, the audacity, the belief. It's just incredible to watch Steph at work. I mean, I can't believe he's still doing this at this age, but he's put the work in, and he still got it.
Here, Shams, to pick up on the point you were making, Stephen A. Smith for years has been saying he's the greatest shooter that God ever created. But he actually, right now, may be shooting better than he ever has in his career.
I mean, it's remarkable. And a lot of it is the conditioning and how he carries his body and things like that. And the Warriors have been smart about his minutes, too. And they've tried to do the best they can. That's why you go out and get Jimmy Butler. They're plus-minus with Jimmy Butler in the lineup and Steph Curry off the floor. There's some stats the Warriors in their front office they've cooked up. He's been getting a lot more time of rest even on different plays when Jimmy Butler has the ball in his hands. But Stephen Curry, that's where the ball belongs. That's where he's best at. And that's why this Warriors team is a legitimate contender. Anytime you have Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, Greeny, they've gone from the back end of the play-in tournament to a legitimate title contender.
Go.
Look, 52, 10, and 8. One of the scariest things I've seen. He's no longer the underdog babyface assassin.
But ain't been that in years, Jay.
I know, but listen, he is the villain now, and I think he's embracing being the villain. And the beautiful thing about this, he's the petty king. I think this is the scariest thing we've ever seen Steph Curry be at level-wise for the way he plays. Like, he's entering a similar phase to when Kobe was Black Mamba. I think you're entering a dark Steph phase, right? Where little things like this, that's just him buying his rhythm. Look how he just runs up in the face of Desmond Bane. Like, if it's night-night, if it's the trash talking that he has, if it's with Jimmy Butler, if it's with Draymond Green, this is the next iteration of Steph Curry that's trying to win a chip in the next 2 years.
Let me put up A19, if we can, by the way, Cindy, because to illustrate the point that Shams was making, you know, we talked so much at the deadline about the trade for Luka, but the reality is the Warriors are 18-2 when Steph and Jimmy Butler play together this season. What is this team becoming right in front of our eyes, Monica?
To that end, Greeny, I'll raise you one. They're 12-0. They found a starting lineup that is successful. That's Curry, Butler, Green, Moody, and Przemski, who was a guy who last year was having a terrific rookie season. This year got off to a little bit of a rocky start, but he's finding his way. Steph was fantastic in this one, but the team in totality, Jay, you mentioned the casual 27 for Jimmy Butler. Draymond Green, a triple-double in this one. And then you look at the guys they've got coming off the bench and post and Santos that have been able to kind of hold the fort at that 4-5 position, because so many of us have talked about the lack of size with this group.
Jay, we have been calling the Western Conference the OKC Invitational for some time. Who's their biggest threat?
Golden State. It's with the way they play. Steph Curry has gotten loose and free multiple times in OKC. Jimmy Butler gives you a size issue. The way they play, the versatility, the way they switch everything, positions 1 through 5 with Draymond Green. Look, the Lakers will be there. Denver will be there. Minnesota has a size challenge to OKC. But I think versatility-wise, Golden State is the biggest threat, biggest matchup issue.
So we all had that question last night, and I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to be a prisoner of the moment. I don't think that that is prisoner of the moment. My one concern with that one is, I know you mentioned the switchability, but this is where I do wonder if the size is going to come into play when you look at what OKC has as far as the size.
Mm-hmm. I do, but go ahead, James.
This is Jimmy Butler's season coming up. His real season is the NBA playoffs. The one area of concern, though, the last hurdle the Warriors have this year is figuring out how they're going to optimize Jonathan Kuminga. Steve Kerr, that organization, the roster, I'm told, their leadership, they're trying to figure out exactly where he fits in best. Is it the dunker spot? Is it being a slasher? Defender with Gary Payton II out? But he's a guy that started the year with the ball in his hands. He's a guy that feels like he's a star caliber player, a guy like Pascal Siakam, Jaylen Brown. They have not been able to optimize him yet. He's really that last piece that could take him over the top.
All right, we'll see what the Warriors can do. But if Steph really is petty and doesn't, is paying attention, let's make him aggravated. People, this might have been the NBA game of the year. Jokic and the Nuggets hosting the Timberwolves. We're going to pick it up in the fourth quarter because it got nuts. This Jokic 3 in the fourth quarter, early fourth, gives him 40 points and counting, and the Nuggets are up by 5. And now we got 7 minutes left, and they're up by 8, and it's Jokic inside. They're up by 11 after the free throw. Ball game, right? No, wrong. Anthony Edwards not giving up.
Well, Anthony Edwards had 10 points, and then, leading into the fourth, and then he just blew up the rest of the game, got offensively going.
He got knocked down that 3 to tie it. Here's another 3 to tie it in transition. Wolves up by 3, 20 seconds left. Nuggets down 2. Jokic gets fouled by Rudy Gobert, makes both. We're going to overtime, tied at 112, and it just continues. 2 minutes left in the OT. Wolves up by 4. Anthony Edwards was terrific last night, Monica.
And he wanted the ball in every big spot. You can see the energy. He's talking to his guy, Mike Conley. He did not shy away.
Jokic on the other end, knocking down the 3. He would have 56 at the end of the overtime. Here come the last 2, down by 2 with 13 seconds left in the extra frame. Jokic, yes, we're going to double overtime, tied at 125. Opening minute of the second extra frame. Jokic, we're counting. He's at 58 with the footwork. Nuggets up by 2. 2 minutes left. Jay Will, we're going to call goaltending here. Good call to give Jokic 60.
It's the right call.
60 points. Nuggets up by 3. But Anthony Edwards just would not be denied.
I mean, this is what he does, closing time. But also they try to take the ball out of his hands with double teams late.
He had 34. Aaron Gordon makes a 3. Nuggets lead by 2. Now here's the critical moment. 17 seconds left. Timberwolves inbounding with a 1-point lead. Edwards. We got, look, Russell.
Pull it out!
His
Pull it out! Pull it out!
RJ and Monica.
Yeah.
They had a 1-point lead at the time that Westbrook goes for it. Now watch this on the other end. Russell Westbrook is kind of guarding no one.
Where is he? Get into play. Don't foul!
And he gets there at exactly the wrong
was
time.
looking out to say bye. Great game as he realizes his guy fouled.
And it is almost impossible to believe.
Peyton Watson's reaction.
He commits the foul Russell Westbrook does with 0.1 second remaining, and that's how it ends. The free throws, the Timberwolves win at 140
I'm tired,
to
Greeny.
139. Jokic finishes with a 61-point triple-double. And yet that isn't the first topic to come out of the game, the closing sequence there from Russell Westbrook.
I don't know why you don't pull the ball out. And I get that Russell is athletic and you can get to the rim. But, that's an IQ play down the stretch. And you have a 1-point lead. Even if you were to lay the ball in, you're still going to give them opportunity. You dribble the ball out, you run away from the defense, you get fouled, you go to the free throw line, and that's the way you try to close out that game. Not by getting a quick layup, and then you have the foul at the end where he's late to even get back in the play. Watch after the layup.
Right? So layup.
Watch his reaction after the layup.
You are correct, Jay. But Russell Westbrook makes that layup, usually.
Well, I mean, most people make that layup usually, but the point is that would give them a 3-point lead in that moment, which is not right. You make the layup, you're going up by 3. The other team still, you should. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, are you better off making the layup to go up by 3 with whatever would have been left at that point? The clock is covered by our graphic here, but it would have been something in the neighborhood of 7 seconds, whatever it is, 9 seconds left. as opposed to pulling it out and trying to run the clock.
Basketball analyst Coach Jay Will is correct. You all are correct. Run it out. Me at home enjoying this game, make the layup. Let's see what happens.
Or dunk.
It's a great
Or
game.
dunk.
Yeah, one way or another. Yes. So both things are bad. One, he probably shouldn't be trying to score there anyway. Two, if he's going to try and score, you obviously have to score. And then three, obviously the foul at the end is horrific. So it is a terrible finish to the game for Russell Westbrook. And unfortunately, it becomes the primary topic of a game in which the Joker, can I have a 35, please, here? Shams, the Joker,
Ridiculous.
61 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists. He is the third player in NBA history with a 60-point triple-double, joining Luka Doncic and James Harden. The 61 points are the most in any triple-double in NBA history. Can I say that one more time? That is the most points that any player has ever scored in a triple-double in the history of the NBA. Shams.
He's the third player in NBA history right now averaging a triple-double. He's done it in the past, but I think this year is the year he's actually going to do it. And we talk about MVP. He still might lose MVP to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The way he plays, he makes it look effortless. Everyone talks about, does he take the game serious enough? Like, you know, he loves to ride his horses. You have to take the game very serious to dominate. He's at the level now where you have to think about him among the greats. And he reminds me a lot of a guy like Tim Duncan. You think about how stoic he is. He just goes about his business, doesn't really care for the commercials, the media. He just wants to go and do his work.
I think he's outpacing Shaq, Kareem, and Kareem. He's outpacing them.
Both Kareem and Kareem.
Yes, Hakeem and Kareem.
Okay.
Here's what's bothering me as a Joker fan. And it's natural. We're going to wake up every morning, and you're going to see highlights of Stephen Curry in 52. We're going to talk about Russell Westbrook. This was one of the greatest performances individually I've ever seen.
Yeah.
He's not loud. He's not as flashy. But you are looking at one of the most gifted, if not the best big men maybe to ever play the game. That is what we are watching. Just embrace it. And by the way, if this were LeBron, if this were Steph, who had 61, 10, and 10, ESPN would shut down. We'd be talking about it for 3 days. How are we not leading every show with Nikola Jokic? How are we not talking about his individual greatness? Anthony Edwards said it last night. I've never seen a player like him play this way.
Well, for the record, we are talking about it.
Yes, we are. Yes,
I know Jay's
I'm
like,
setting the tone. Brady.
Monica, final
It's my
thought.
own pent-up anger, okay? It's here, baby.
Final word.
well, we're less than, everybody's what, 8 games? 2 weeks? Less than 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Yeah, some teams less, yeah.
To me, and we started this conversation with the biggest threat to the Oklahoma City Thunder. I still have the Denver in that position because of what we saw last night.
Need Jamal Murray healthy, need Michael Porter Jr. healthy. They were both out last night. Nikola Jokic almost still won them this game.
Yeah, it was a ridiculous night.